Okay, so we're going to write butterfly versus moth. Okay, we're going to try and find the differences between a butterfly and a moth. And we're going to do our best to draw two pretty big circles with some overlapping space, because there probably are some things that these two have in common. Would you agree? There's probably several things that they have in common. Oh, friends, I hear a lot of talking. Okay. So we'll put butterfly on this side and moth on the other. Okay, now as you usually think of, a butterfly is often, would you say, more colorful than a moth? Yeah, usually. So we're going to put the butterfly over, or that under the butterfly side, more colorful. Now, that's not always true, but it is a generalization that butterflies are more colorful than moths. Logan, you need to have your science notebook out, please. Thank you, sir. Okay, what else do we think we know about butterflies versus moths? Any other ideas?
Moths are brown.
Raise your hand, please, and thank you. Awesome. All right, Aubrey, what do you think?
For butterflies, I remember that they had like these, I think they used their antennas, or there's something like antennas on them, and they like drink nectar.
Okay, so they do use their antenna, okay, but let me show you a picture of what I'm talking about here. So here's a picture of a butterfly's antenna. Do you see it? Okay, so it says, this butterfly, they do have long antenna, but what makes them stand out as different is you see those little knobs on the end? So butterflies, if you look real carefully at their antenna, have a little knob on the end. And you're right, Aubrey, it says it uses those antennae to smell flowers, right, to find that nectar, and kind of even to hear. Okay? So a butterfly has knobs on the antenna, and that is a fancy, funny word to spell, so let me help you. A-N-T-E-N-N-A-E.
It's not focused.
Whoopsie, sorry about that. There it goes. Okay, so knobs on the antenna. And I'm going to draw myself a little picture even. So here's the antenna, and it has those little kind of knobs on the end of it. Now a moth's antenna on the other end. Moths do have antenna, but theirs look different. Theirs are actually, there's one of the pictures was a really good picture of it. Theirs look more like this.
Like a leaf.
Okay, so what do you notice about those antennae?
Oh, they look like
What do they look like, or how could we describe those? Julia, we're talking about these ones. Caden, what do those look like?
well, they look like Miss Love, but
Okay,
it's not your normal leaf, because leaves they don't have like spikes. You see how there's like little tiny spaces in between?
there are.
Yeah.
So maybe what a good word for that, they almost look like feathers,
Yes.
right? So we call them feathered antenna. Yes, Julia.
I'm on 1% and I'm gonna be die soon, so can I get out of the zoo?
Yes, you'll just have to watch the video of it. And make sure that you get all of the notes correct because you'll need it for the test, the quiz tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay. So we call that feathered antenna. Feathered antenna. Okay? So you can even draw yourself kind of a little picture, right? So even if you look real carefully at that last picture, I know I'm going back and forth here a lot, but I want you to see it. You can see these ones are feathered super easily, right? But even if we go back to, let's say, this picture. I know it's a little blurry, but can you see it?
Yeah.
All the little separations. Okay, so that one was a moth. Okay, what else? What about their bodies? Did you notice any differences in their body? Riley, what do you think?
The moth's body is way bigger.
Okay.
And the butterfly body is like small. Plus, fun fact, actually caterpillars are, I was gonna say something else, but you think like caterpillars have butterflies have the same form, kind of like the caterpillar in the middle, like the main body.
It's very
Like
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar. It's not quite the same. It has different parts to it, but it is very similar. Okay? All right, so we have a different size of body, besides the different colors of the body also. Okay, what else do you think? What about their wings, beside the color? Jolie, what did you think you noticed?
That one, they're in different positions and different shapes.
Okay, so the shape can change. Shapes can change drastically between different species of butterflies and moths, but the position, what do you mean by position?
Like how the butterflies' wings are like over each other, and like the moths are like wings.
Okay, so a butterfly always lands, if you catch it ever, or you let it like land on your finger, it will always land wings closed. So their wings will be touching up. So if you ever see a butterfly on a leaf, think back to any time you've seen a butterfly. Have you ever seen it just sit there with its wings wide open?
I've seen it open and closed.
You'll see them open and close often, but will it just sit there open?
Yeah.
Never. Now a moth, on the other hand, every time you see it, they land with their wings open. I'm going to show you what I mean. Because last year, and I'm shocked that they survived, they did. My kids found a butterfly and a moth for us and brought them in. No, they're not alive. They're dead. Yeah, they're dead, but I'm going to show them to you. So, based on what you know, now he's missing some parts, but based on what we just talked about,
That's a butterfly.
what do you think that is?
That's a butterfly. Butterfly, the knob. The knob. Who said knob?
Okay, so this one is interesting. But what gives it away is you're exactly right. You can see the little knobs at the end of the antenna, right? And look at the body. You see how it's long and skinny?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the fact that his wings are open, we actually did that to make him stay open once he died. Because he died in the classroom, so we opened his wings so that we could see them. Because look on the inside of his wings, you could see they have this really cool spots and designs. And we thought like the wings are actually really cool, so we wanted to be able to see them. So we opened his wings, but when he came in, he was completely closed.
Wait, did you find me that?
One of the kids found him at their house and brought him in a jar.
Was he still alive then?
Yeah, he was alive, but he
He
died
died.
because he was in a jar.
He had no air.
Yeah.
And it's been over a year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
If he's
Okay,
still alive, that would be
now by contrast, this dude,
That's a moth. That's a Where's his head? Now I don't like moths.
okay, now he's missing his head. He's missing his head, but the reason, it probably just broke off because it was dried. But the reason that I saved this one is because you can really see his body is a lot thicker. And you can see the wings won't even go up all the way. They would never even match up together because his body's too thick. So that's a part of why they land wings open versus wings closed. They can't even get their wings all the way closed. It would look like a triangle. Butterflies that you see often with their wings closed, their wings are like touching each other, right? Okay. So what also did you notice? What did you also notice about the body of the moth? Is there another word we could use to describe them? In all of our pictures, you could see this fact too. So let me go back to our pictures here.
the one that has a head. That's a moth.
Okay, so that one was a moth. That one was a moth.
Well, at least he has a head.
That was a butterfly. You see how his wings are shut and the knobs?
Yep.
Okay.
That one right.
That one's a moth.
We knew that.
He has a small body, but that one's a moth. That's
That one right.
a butterfly, long, skinny
Where's
body,
the knob?
teeny tiny knobs on the end, but they're there.
That's the moth. Oh, that's the moth.
That's a moth. You can kind of see the little feathered part of his antenna.
He looks like a penguin.
So that brings us back to this one.
That's a butterfly. That's a moth. That's not a butterfly. That's a butterfly. Look at the knob from its antenna. Yeah, that's a butterfly. Is that feathers? Those are not feathers. No. You can tell. It kind of and look at the wings. Yeah, they're completely full. That's a butterfly. I knew it. Yeah, I said butterfly.
That's the tough one.
Is it a moth or butterfly?
I know.
Butterfly. It's a butterfly.
So what did you also notice about the moths? All the pictures that I said were a moth. What did you also notice about their bodies?
They look like
Besides they were fat, Delraya.
most of them have patterns on their back.
Okay, they do have some patterns on their actual body, but they also have something else too. Nobody's brought it up yet. They have patterns and something else.
Big eyes.
Did you catch it? Okay. Kaden, what do you think?
Hair?
They're furry!
Oh yeah, that's the one.
They're furry! Look at this guy even.
For a second when you first look, I thought the big fat part of its body was the head.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a moth.
Legs.
Wait,
Okay. They do. So they're all furry. Now that takes us back to our original picture that we're debating.
oh, I don't. It's a butterfly.
His wings are closed.
It's furry.
He doesn't exactly have knobs,
But he's furry.
sort of, but he's furry and his body's big and fat.
So what is it?
A moth.
A
moth.
moth. I said moth.
But its wings are closed.
We need a front profile, not this side. It is a butter off.
Right? Okay. What are some of the things that they have in common? Now, I know we don't have a ton of space here, but what are some of the things that they have in common?
They both have antennas.
Okay. They both have antennas. I'm just going to abbreviate. Okay. You're not writing any of this down, so you won't have it for the quiz tomorrow.
Oh.
I don't think that's a wise choice. Okay. What else do they have in common? Kira,
They both have wings.
what about their wings?
They both have patterns.
Yeah, their wings are both patterned. Now again, one more brightly than the other,
Yes.
but they are patterned. I had to write that real small, so you write it in there. If you have to draw a line down and write down here at the bottom, that's okay too.
Oh, just a fit.
Okay.
Two.
Okay, something we didn't talk about yet. Did you notice that they both had legs? Yeah. They were smaller in some cases and larger in others. That more has to do with the breed than it does whether it's a butterfly or a moth. So the type of butterfly or moth has more to do with the size of the legs. But they do have like jointed, there you go, you can see them,
Is that hair?
jointed legs. No, it's just like parts of it.
Are those legs?
Yeah, they do look a lot like cricket legs. Even the butterflies too, they're just a little shorter. Okay? Obviously, friends, I need you to be mature. This is why we're not doing owl pellets. I understand that it would be really fun to do it, but every time I've brought something out, we haven't exactly acted maturely. Okay? Okay. So, let's see what else. I guess the next biggest thing we saw was that their bodies are what we call segmented, which means they have parts, like segments. Bodies segmented. Sorry, I should have made a bigger space there in the middle. So if I go back to our moth, you can see like he has like here's a part and then there's all these other little parts. Those aren't lines for design. Those are actually different parts of his body. Right. And then our butterfly has like a very defined head, and then here's another part of it. There's another skinny part down there, and then there's like the tail almost back down here. Okay. His wings are see-through, but they're not all see-through, so we can't really write that as a good description. Okay? All right.